worked over the last 3 years to develop our relationship. It's not something that was just instantaneous, that was just given to us, upon our birthright or something. It was something that we had to work to develop from the day that he was born. Him learning me and me learning him. Him being able to look at me and see confidence, see protection, and see love. Me looking at him and hopefully seeing a lot of those traits, given back to me. Even though he didn't have the words at that time to express them. Just the look in his eye.
Welcome to Just Men, a life-changing program that resonates hope as well as encouragement. The program that gives you information and inspiration for the glory of God. I'm your host, Jeff Tate, and thank you for joining Just Men. On today's program, we have a very special guest. This is his first time being on Just Men. Please welcome MattChase. Chase, welcome to Just Men.
Thank you, Jeff. It's great to be here.
Oh, man, it's a tremendous blessing for you to be on our program. We're excited about what you're going to share with us and enlighten us. We're going to talk about fatherhood, man. That's right. It's a valuable topic, but I know before we dive into that, if you give us just a quick bio on who is MattChase.
Well, I was born in Louisville, Kentucky. Lived there for the first 12 years of my life before relocating to a small town just out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There I learned to be a Steelers fan, which is one of my attributing qualities. Went to college at West Virginia University, about 90 miles south of there, far enough to be away, but close enough that I could still run home. Graduated West Virginia in 2005 and moved out to Indiana with my then fiance, Kristen. Got married in 2007 and relocated to Nashville. I've held a couple of different jobs since I've been here, and I'm currently working at Murphy Road Animal Hospital here in Nashville. I'm a hospital director. I'm everything from the janitor and electrician to the payroll guy and customer service representative. So live quite an interesting life there.
Wow, that's good. It's a good segue to kind of dive into. I tell you, this topic is just so valuable, and I know we can expound and on and on and on, but I really want to hit the essence of fatherhood and just through your lens in terms of what fatherhood meant and what you've seen in your father and how you set the example, even in relationship with your son now. Let's start there with your father and the relationship.
Well, I was really fortunate growing up. I had a wonderful father. I was actually the third Thomas. My first name's actually Thomas MattChase. My father was Thomas Gregory. He was the firstborn son. His father, Thomas Melvin, he was the firstborn son, and I was the firstborn son. So we have a long history here in the family, extended family, and I couldn't have asked for a better dad growing up. He was there when I needed him, and he was conspicuously absent when I needed to learn and grow on my own. He gave me just enough room or just enough rope to hang myself with, you know what I mean? He allowed me to grow uninhibited, from what he thought best to what I thought was best, and really helped shape me and mold me into the person that I am today.
Talk a little bit about that part of by design being absent. I think it's very powerful, especially when men today are trying to find a balance there. I mean, there's so many men that have actually, the balance is sort of unbalanced because they're totally abandoned.
Right.
So talk a little bit about that. Give us some insight in terms of that part of your relationship.
What I mean by that is there are some things that as a kid, a child, a toddler, you name it, teenager, you've got to learn on your own. He's there, a dad, in my opinion, a father, is there to protect from the things that you can't protect yourself from. And but they're also there to kind of guide you through and help you navigate the things that maybe you need to learn on your own. I think my dad, did just a phenomenal job of, like I said, just giving me enough rope. He let me learn from my mistakes. The rule in the house was you don't make the same mistake twice. It's perfectly fine to make mistakes, to grow, to learn, do something wrong, but learn from it and don't repeat it. Better yourself. Use that as an opportunity to grow, not an opportunity to go backwards.
Wow, that's good. I know that one of the challenge with men is learning from experience versus learning from wisdom. with your dad. We give that, and sometimes it's almost like touching the hot iron. You know, you give them the wisdom of not touching it, because as fathers, we don't want our children to feel the effects of that.
Right.
But we still want to touch that hot iron. Talk a little bit about where you touch that hot iron, and it seems to, again, gives more credence to fatherhood, that, yeah, dad knows best.
One of the times when I remember thinking my dad was the biggest jerk in the world was actually just after I turned 18 and I went into college. He basically told me, yeah, good luck with that. You know, Mom and I, we don't have the money to send you through. You're going to have to do it on your own. So, you know, he did help me work out, you know, some opportunities for student loans, financial aid, things along that line. Helped me secure housing, you know, would co-sign, do whatever he could on that end. But it was my responsibility to go away from the nest. He wasn't going to give me anything and say, take me under his wing and shelter me from all of the bad things in the world, the debts that have to be paid, and the hard work that you need to perform in order to move forward in life.
And that's good, because I know that's that part that sometimes men have a hard time with their sons, is when do you know to kind of not be an inhibitor from them growing. And I think that's the key thing, especially when moms interject sometimes, and you know that old adage that mothers, they love their sons but raise their daughters, and many times sometimes there's out of balance there. How did your dad navigate through that process?
Yeah, I was a mama's boy. You know, she coddled me. If I ever wanted something, really wanted something, I know I go to mom first. But it was something that wasn't earned. You know, it was something that was given. When I dealt with my father, you know, I had to have the reasons, and I had to earn whatever it was that I wanted. Was it a new bike? You know, going to college? You know, whatever it was. He wasn't just going to hand it to you. He'd give you the tools that you needed to go out and get it for yourself, but you still had to go out there and get it.
One thing with me has always been image. And it's a question that I ask most of our guests when we start talking about fatherhood, and that is, what reflection of your father do you see in yourself as you look back, especially now being a father, and you see some of the things? What are some of the things that you see that really reflects the image of your father through you?
Well, I see a lot in my son now. He's 3 years old, and I see a lot of that relationship that my father and I had developing between myself and my son. If he really wants something, he runs to mom. He doesn't come to me. You know, granted, he's only 3 years old, so we're going to give him a few of the things that he needs, food and water and the like. But you know, still, even at that age, you know, I want him to earn what he gets. You know, whether it's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toy or a truck, you know, performing a task or growing as a young man, and learning to do for himself. Whether it's helping to clean up the dishes after dinner, and putting them in the sink, to, you know, picking up his toys in the room, giving him a sense of responsibility, which I think was something that my father instilled in me, which I truly hope I'm passing along on to him.
Wow, that's beautiful. Talk a bit about your son in terms of that nurturing process and some of the tools you're using, because you are a great example. Many times we have men on that have a very broken relationship with fathers, and we don't talk about that as well, but I really want people to get the glimpse of the significance of a father and how he navigates and molds and shapes his family to reflect an image that is good. I mean, it's a good image. Talk a little bit about your relationship with your son and that development.
You know, it's funny. I felt, right when my son was born, I felt like my life was going to change. You know, leading up, my wife being pregnant, leading up to the birth. And the day that he was born, I didn't feel any different. And then as things started going on, we got out of the hospital, got to the house, we you know, had our first night, you know, first diaper change. you know, I almost felt like I didn't love him enough. Felt like I should be feeling more than I was feeling. And actually, I talked to my dad about it, you know, and he you know, assured me that's normal. You know, you'll grow into it. It's like meeting a stranger. You know, even though he's your blood, you've got to learn each other. And so we've, you know, worked over the last 3 years to develop our relationship. It's not something that was just instantaneous, that was just given to us, you know, upon our birthright or something. It was something that we had to work to develop from the day that he was born. You know, him learning me and me learning him. Him being able to look at me and see confidence, see protection, and see love. Me looking at him and hopefully seeing a lot of those traits, you know, given back to me. Even though he didn't have the words at that time to express them. You know, just the look in his eye. So I think, you know, that's certainly one of the things.
Wow, you know what's powerful, and it just resonated as you were speaking about it. You know, you heard the adage is that being a father is more than biologically connecting, just having babies or having sons.
Yeah.
But it is a relationship, and just what you just said now, it really hones in on the significance of being there and establishing a relationship. That's what a true father is. It's not the biological, you know, connection that you make there. It's got to be more. Right. From that standpoint. And what you just said, I mean, it just resonates. And so many people think that they are father just because they, you know, they consummated a relationship.
Right. Yeah, it took years. Wow. You know, and again, he's only 3. You know, but it's taken years to get to this point. It's taken, you know, nights where he's kicking and screaming and crying. You know, it's taken arguments at the dinner table over whether we're going to eat our broccoli or not. You know, there are so many little things in life that build up that trust and that relationship. It's not something that's taken lightly. It's not something that's just handed to anybody. You know, I feel like it's the greatest gift I've ever been given. But as my father taught me, it was also a gift I had to go out and earn.
One of the things, and I want to transgress to the part about your mentoring. I know you're working with young men and also not only in your family, but you're also mentoring other men. And I want to talk about how you make a connection with young men who don't have a father or had a bad experience in relationship with men. How you make that connection when, you know, everything that seems like, you know, your relationship as a father and a son has been that white picket fence kind of thing.
It seems like it sometimes.
You know, and so again, kind of talk a little bit first about the organization and what you do, and then let's begin to talk a little bit about making this connection with individuals who had a different path in life.
I've been working with Caring Connections, and they're a program that matches up young men, maybe with difficult backgrounds. Maybe they've run into trouble, you know, financially. They've run into trouble with the law. They're kind of in this program where they're rehabilitating themselves. And one of the things that we felt was a powerful opportunity for us to communicate with the young men and try to reach them is through animals. You know, we're working with dogs and a couple of the local rescues and shelters to bring the kids and the dogs together. And whether you're a 40-year-old man or a 32-year-old woman or a 14-year-old boy, you know, when those puppies come out, when those dogs come out, you transgress to something simpler. You know, you don't have to put on the facade of being tough. You're just yourself with them. And that really gives us the opportunity with the kids to connect with them on a different level, I think, than you would if I'm just standing up and preaching or giving a speech about responsibility.
Insight, but just from your perspective, why do we say that a dog is a man's best friend?
I think a dog's a man's best friend because they offer us unconditional love. Make $1 or $1 million in a day, they love us just the same when we get home. And I think they love us because we take care of them. You know, we feed them, we show them affection, we take care of their needs. You know, very similar to a child. You know, where the child starts to get more complicated is they can talk back. They have their own free will, they can do what they want, and maybe sometimes that's where we lose that connection, but I think makes it all the more powerful with dogs. Mm-hmm. You can come in from a hard day's work or having lost your job, and your little puppy, he doesn't care. He just cares that you're home. You know, he just, his eyes light up the same way as the day you took him home. And he turns to you and he looks to you to provide for him and to protect him and to teach him and train him. I think very similar to a son in a lot of ways, or a daughter.
Wow. I want to pour from you and your father, because I know I'm sitting here now with you and your father now in so many aspects. And I want to pour some wisdom from you in terms of some of our men that have been in broken relationships with their father. Mm-hmm. And they are broken in so many ways, and some of it is still affecting them 25, 30, 40 years because of the brokenness. And many of the men are waiting for that phone call or waiting for that father really to show up. What would you say, how would you speak to the lives of to those type of men that have been in that situation, especially when what you learned from your father? And what would your father say?
I would tell them, time to let it go. I would tell them, you know, sometimes life hands you lemons, and then you got to make lemonade out of it. Yeah. It's an old adage, but I think it's apropos. They've just got to go out there and they've got to move on. They've got to look deep inside themselves. You've got to find what's within you, the strength within you to move forward. And as much as you're hurting, as much as it pains you, you're sitting by the phone waiting for that call, or you know, Christmas comes and you don't get a card or a phone call. That's how much you're focusing on that. That's how much that's hurting your relationship with those people around you. Mm-hmm. That you could be providing to them what was failed to be provided to you. And I think the man that stands up and recognizes that and can give that to a spouse or a child or a puppy, you know, that's the real man. That's the
wow. It makes perfect sense. I mean, especially, I know you and I talked off the set about moving on and taking responsibilities, and then what you did not have modeled before you, how you can begin to start the new generation and breaking that, what they call generational curse, where right. There was an absentee father, or if there was a father but didn't make the connection or give affirmation of manhood and what it is to be a man and so forth, which really leads me to another question that I have you about, and you've kind of answered the question, and it is, what is it to be a man? What is a man? When you begin to look at all these things and how society identifies what manhood is, many times it's based on the physical attributes mm-hmm. and the sexual proudness and all these other things that is totally disconnected and totally far removed from even being there, as you talked about it. I mean, from your perception, what would you say is a true identity of manhood?
To me, a man's a person that will stand up for their beliefs, a person that'll take the right route, not the easy route. Mm. You know, similar to what my father did with me. I think, you know, from the position that he came from, go back to the story I was talking about, leaving for college. From the position he came from, I think it would have been real easy to say, you know, look, let us take care of this for you. To keep me under his wing for a little bit longer. Because I know I would feel that way with my son 15, 20 years from now. I'd want to help. I'd want to provide. I'd want to take care of him. The ability to do the hard things and allow the people around you to grow. That's what a man is. I don't think how tough they are or you know, how tall they are, how many muscles they have, or how many conquests they've had. I think it's the ability to do the right thing, even in face of adversity.
Wow, that's beautiful. You know, I call it win from within. To be able to win that battle within, I mean, a lot of it is mental from the standpoint of our own battles that we create and in our pursuit of success, pursuit of other things, and yet we still can't conquer that inward dwelling of attachment to things that are so much unlike our true essence and our true image of who we are as men. And you've said some things that are very profound, especially in terms of standing up for being right. Standing for those things, even though it causes you pain. And I think that's a thing that many men sell out to is because of pain, their pursuit of pleasure. And pain just don't mix with that with that model and that journey that they're on. How do you deal with pain, and how do you deal with staying right, doing right in the midst of pain?
It's one of the hardest things, whether it be on a daily basis or a weekly basis,
Yeah.
to make hard decisions sometimes. Make decisions that affect the lives of other people, the lives of the people I care the most about. Tell you, when I was a little bit younger, I had a wonderful job. Out of college, I had started a career, started as a trainee, worked my way up to a regional manager for a big company, contract management firm. Traveled all over the United States. You know, I'd be in Los Angeles one day, and Dallas another, and you know, maybe down in Tampa, finish off the week. Maybe a night in New Orleans out at the quarter. I loved my job. I loved everything about it. I worked 60, 70 hours a week. When my son was born, and I had mentioned how, you know, I had to develop that relationship with him. I didn't have it right off the bat. I dove right back into work. I traveled the country. I did the things that I was supposed to do, you know, from that standpoint. I was providing for my family. I was taking care of them. You know, they didn't have to want, because I was out there or getting them what they needed. It took about 2 years of that. As I watched my son grow up weekend by weekend, and sometimes every other weekend by every other weekend, essentially I was an absentee dad. And while I loved my job and I loved my career, I had to look deep inside myself. The money was great. You know, the reputation was great, the prestige, all the things that I would think I ever wanted. But what I was missing were the simple things. The tucking my son into bed at night, or helping him get ready for school in the morning, pick out his clothes, pour cereal. All the simple things that go unnoticed. And I had to make a difficult decision to change trajectories, to change my career path, to change, you know, everything, all of the hours and years that I had invested into what I was doing, in order to take care of my family, take care of them the way I knew they should have been taken care of. Not by cashing my paychecks, but by being there to coach Little League, by, you know, working on grounders and fly balls in the backyard on a Thursday afternoon, you know, running around playing dress up on a Saturday morning, you know, and not being too tired to, you know, being there to do those things, those little things that have no monetary value, but make a difference in my family's life every day.
Wow, that's beautiful. I know that I've had men on the program, and they said, of course, like you, that they were great providers. They provided shelter, they provided food, but they didn't provide their presence. And many times that was breaking up relationships. It's not so much that, and some of them don't know how to really be that type of father, that type of husband, that they are doing more than just providing physically, but they're providing spiritually, they're providing mentally, they're providing the affirmation, and more significant, like you talk about, is they're providing their presence there, and that sometimes get overlooked, and then they're wondering how the relationship begins to dissipate and begins to dissolve because of, you know, that thing, you know, that without being there. And they said, well, wait a minute, I paid all the bills, I've given you everything that you needed.
You know, it's easy to take that path of least resistance. Like I said, I had the prestige. I had the paychecks. I had everything I felt like I could have wanted. It would have been easy for me to fall back into my shell, head out on the road and take care of, you know, the things that I could take care of in black and white, the business things. It was a much harder decision, you know, to step back and to say there are things, because I felt entitled. I felt entitled for all of the hard work that I had put in. Is this not enough? Is that Gladiator? Are you not entertained? You know, is this not enough? Am I not doing enough to wake up early on Saturday morning? You know, I just got in at 11 o'clock last night. And it would have been easy to take that path of least resistance and to dive further into my job, to be less responsive to my family. I saw them less, you know. They were easier to hide from. But, you know, from what my father told me, you know, going back to the beginning, he, anything that's worth doing isn't going to be easy. There's no easy path. There's no simple way to get there. When you come up on an obstacle in life, you're going to have to make hard decisions and profound decisions that are going to change you, change your family, change everyone that's around. And you know, I just hope that I can instill a lot of those things in my son, you know, as he grows into a man. And I'm there to see it. Wow,
and you're there to see it. That's powerful. You know, you have enlightened us, and I know when I was listening to you, the thing that came to my mind was something that Mother Teresa said about prayer. She had made a statement that prayer was not asking. Prayer was when you put yourself in the hands of God, His disposition, and you listen to His voice in the inner depths of your heart. That was prayer. And it's what you just said. It's about doing, and it's about surrendering, and it's about not seeking your own desires and wills and your entitlement. But it's really much deeper than that. Last word of encouragement that you would have for men, what word would that be?
The road is long and it's hard, but you make the right decisions. Again, sometimes the hard decisions. You work every day, you get out of bed, and you put your best foot forward for yourself, for your family, for the benefit of those around you. And we'll see you at the end of the road.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's awesome. Stay focused. Wow.
Good job.
Awesome.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's great. Great job, man. Awesome job. Man, you just flowed right through this.